Hola, ¿qué tal? Soy Begoña Donat, desde el set del Festival de San Sebastián de Kinótico, patrocinado por Repsol, en el Hotel María Cristina. Hoy nos acompaña la directora francesa Lucile Hadzihalilovic, sí, he dicho bien su apellido.
Sí, gracias.
Que presenta, después de su paso por Berlín y alzarse con el Oso de Plata a la contribución artística, su película La Tour de Glace, que Filmin estrenará en nuestro país el 23 de enero. Es una versión muy personal del cuento de hadas de Hans Christian Andersen, con ese aura de fábula onírica y un tanto oscura a la que nos tiene acostumbrados, muy bien acostumbrados. Bienvenue, Lucile.
Merci.
C'est un plaisir de vous avoir ici au set de Kinótico. Et maintenant, je vais faire l'interview en anglais.
Gracias.
Merci à vous. La Tour de Glace, it's inspired by Hans Christian Andersen, The Snow Queen, but it adds an adult dimension with erotic submission and obsession. And I wanted to know, why were you attracted to this approach to the story, which I think that you discovered when you were a child?
First of all, I want to say that I don't think that Andersen's tales are so much for children, because very often they are very, very dark, very, even sometimes kind of perverse, I would say, or I mean perverse, not the meaning of it, but some characters, some action they do. So, so it's maybe not so much the case with the Snow Queen, the original tale that I discovered when I was a child, as many have a child. That story particular is somehow not so dark, because it has a, let's say, a good ending, if you want. Maybe you can see the ending in a different way when you are adult. And also this tale, I reread it many times when I was an adult, and I found many things in it. And in fact, what I really was attracted to was the Snow Queen itself, not so much the story, yes, not so much the story, but the encounter of the girl with the Snow Queen, and who is the Snow Queen? What does it mean? This character, this archetype. So this is what I try to find out. My attraction also toward this character. This is what I try to find out by writing the scripts and making the film.
Was there a fairy tale you were fascinated with when you were a child?
It was one of them. I love the mermaid, the Little Mermaid, which also is a very, very dark and even much more pessimistic story. Or some other stories like the travel companion. I don't know, le compagnon de voyage. I don't know the title really in English. And so other stories by Andersen, which, as I said, are very complex. What I really like in his style is that they are very poetic, with a lot of images that is very inspiring and very fairy tale, if you want. But at the same time, the characters are usually very complex and not necessarily good or bad. It's a mixture of both, and they are never moralistic. So this is why I really love in his stories.
This is the reunion with Marion Cotillard after working with her in 2004 in Innocence. How was meeting her now that she's an actress with an Oscar and that she's had this international career?
For sure, the Marion today is a different person, and maybe I'm also a different person. But somehow, well, of course, I was not so sure she will accept that part because, as you said, she's such a star. In fact, in France, she's really one of a very few stars, really, and that's also why I thought she was really perfect for the role. And no, in fact, I was very happy and somehow surprised that she accepted immediately she was immediately attracted to the stories, to the script, and then it was about schedule, no, because she's very busy and so on. But then it went very smoothly, and I think because we had this experience, even if it was 20 years ago, when we were both younger, it went quite easily, and she knew the type of acting I was looking for. She knew a little bit the mood, the let's say the kind of film, yes, the atmosphere, the fact that it was very much based on atmosphere, on feelings, on sense, on experiencing cinema rather than storytelling very much, and I was not looking for very I was not looking for a performance that was too obvious. I wanted something quite some more inner type of performance, and I think she's very good at that, and she's very cinematic. She has a lot of even with very few words, she can express a lot, and and then it was very simple, in fact, and let's say the preparation was mostly about costume, finding the makeup, the hair thing, and so on, and then there was an encounter before the shooting between her, Clara Pacini, who is the protagonist of the film, the teenager, and myself at Marion's house. And it was like already being in the film, because that day it was snowing over Paris, which is very rare. And Clara came with a chauffeur, a driver, to the house. And we didn't spoke so much. They just look at each other, talking a little bit. And I think Marion said a very nice thing. She said that she was shy in front of that girl. And I think Clara has a sort of course, she was impressed, but also she was quite strong. And I could see them for the first time, like it was maybe 15 days before the shooting, both at the same time together. And I thought that Clara will be able to stand up in front of Marion, and there will be a match between the two of them. So,
the film has a meta-cinematic quality, with Marion Cotillard playing an actress who is part of a production of the Snow White. Snow Queen. Were you trying to pay homage to cinema?
Well, it was not like the first thing I thought about, and then I realized how much the film was about cinema. In the original tale, there is a mirror built by the devil, which reflects in a distorted way the world. And at some point, this mirror is broken, and each piece goes into the heart and eyes of people on Earth. And it makes me think about screens, and then from the screen of cinema, and then cinema, and of course, because I thought I was not going to make a fantasy film. Really, I wanted to be part real, part fantasy. So I had this idea of a film within the film, and then I think that became one of the main aspects of the film, the main story somehow. The theme is about cinema, yeah, and maybe this girl, Jeanne, played by Clara Pacini, is becoming a cinéphile, a film buff. I don't know the word exactly in English, or maybe even she will become a cinéphila, and maybe she will even come, I don't know, a filmmaker. Who knows?
We need a second part for the film then. Marion Cotillard recalls of Hollywood golden era actresses like Greta Garbo, Marlene Dietrich, and even the Hitchcock called heroines. Mm-hmm. Were you inspired by these myths of ancient cinema?
Absolutely. I was really imagining this character, this actress, this star in the film, like a sort of Marlene Dietrich. The film is set up in the 70s, but the film within the film refer more to the 30s, to this area of even silent cinema, and not only silent cinema, but this time, and when there is this kind of Hollywoodian diva like Greta Garbo and Marlene Dietrich, and that was a sort of reference indeed. And it's like the filmmaker in the film within the film is looking backwards rather than being a modern type of filmmaker from the 70s, and he's shooting in a studio and with these lights on the actress, and yes, that was really a reference. And then I realized, even if I haven't thought about that immediately, that of course Christina Lucile is also a bit like a Hitchcockian character with this sort of cold and disturbed inside and totally in chaotic emotions, but restrained and so yeah.
Yeah, very distant, hiatic.
Yes.
We can see a cameo by your partner in life and your partner in crime, Gaspar Noé.
Partner in crime, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
In the film, I want you to tell us a bit about how your works reflect in each other's work.
Well, I guess because we know each other for such a long time, that I guess we sort of influence each other, I suppose, in many ways. I had worked on some of his films, and he had done the camera on my first film, La Bouche de Jean-Pierre, but then it's more about talking about project of each other, not really working on it, giving sort of advices and so on. And then I think we have some, let's say, similar inspirations sometimes, and we are doing a very different type of cinema. Nevertheless, I think there is something about a type of cinema which based more on sensations, on feelings, on something a bit less about the story than it's a cinema of you have to feel it, it's immersive, yeah. Even if mine is like very restrained and he's very more outside like that. And I thought that it was, regarding the fact that Gaspar is having a cameo, playing a director in the film, a totally anti-Gaspar type of director, I would say. I thought I had two options. One was to have an actor playing this role, and the other one, maybe I thought it could be fun to have a real director playing that role. Also, it could be easier on set, but also like a sort of a clin d'œil. But who could have done this kind of films? And then I thought, well, it could have been Mario Bava, but he was dead. So, and then I thought maybe Del Toro, Guillermo del Toro could have done it. But then I thought, maybe it's too busy, it's complicated to... And I knew that he could have liked the film somehow, and at the end he did, in fact. But then I thought, well, it's too complicated to have him for a few days doing almost nothing, because it was really a small part. It was not a... And then I thought, oh, Gaspar can have this kind of type of Italian type of character with... and he said, okay, if I can have some hair, I will do it.
As you know, your film is going to be released in Spain January 23rd by the platform Filming. And I have a question from them for you. Which would be the film that you would advise your own self when you were 18 years old?
But you mean not a film that, not necessarily of today?
No.
Okay. Because, well, then I think there is a film which is so inspiring, that has so much importance in my life when I was maybe, yes, around 18 years old when I discovered. It's 2001 by Kubrick, because it's such a great, it's a masterpiece of cinema, and it's also a film that is somehow very experimental, and who had that amazing success at the same time, and which is telling a lot of things about what we are as a human beings, and with the good and the bad, but in a very somehow optimistic way. there is this idea of a rebirth and also the faith in cinema, in creating something so achieved and so somehow both complex and simple in a way. I think it would be a very, very wonderful film to discover at a young age.
Thank you very much. Merci bien.
Merci.
Como sabéis, estamos en el Festival de San Sebastián, en el set audiovisual interior de Kinótico, patrocinado por Repsol, en el Hotel María Cristina. Hoy nos ha acompañado Lucile Hadzihalilovic. Como veis, sus películas pueden ser fábulas oscuras, pero ella es muy luminosa. Esperamos volver a tenerla en nuestro set en un futuro con próximos proyectos. Vosotros y vosotras podéis seguir viendo entrevistas y la cobertura de este festival en Kinótico, la primera con K, la segunda con C. Gracias por estar ahí.